Alrighty. How everybody doing? How you doing? I am G, the seeker of truth. This is Spiritual Steak, and yes, your spirit is at stake. Here at Spiritual Steak, we have been going through our Bible, doing our Bible breakdown, our Bible reading, our Bible dissection. We are currently in Genesis chapter 40. We in chapter 40, y'all. Just a quick overview of 39. 39, Joseph was working for the Pharaoh. Everything that Joseph touched, it was blessed, it was abundant, it was multiplied. This earned the Pharaoh's favor. The Pharaoh had Joseph, Joseph ran everything for the Pharaoh. But one day the Pharaoh wife, she make advances at Joseph. He denied, he rejected her. He rejected again. He rejected again, and he actually ends up having to flee. And after he flees from her, she lies and say that Joseph tried to come on to her. So that's where we at with that. 39 of her lying on Joseph after tempting him, and he rejected her. If I didn't say it, this spiritual stake, and yes, your spirit is at stake. Remember that always. Your spirit is at stake. But anyway, y'all know how we do. Without any further ado, if you're going to fire up, go on fire up. Your Bible should be open, and we should be jumping into chapter 40. And it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their lord, the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against the chief of the butlers and against the chief of the bakers. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, and he served them, and they continued a season in ward. And they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream, the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in the prison. And Joseph came in unto them in the morning and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. And he asked Pharaoh's officers, I got tongue-tied. And he asked Pharaoh's, don't happen too often. And he asked Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of his lord's house, saying, wherefore look ye so sadly today? And they said unto him, we have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me them, I pray you. Excuse me. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph, and said to him, in my dream, behold, a vine was before me, and in the vine were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe fruits. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes, and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. And Joseph said unto him, this is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head and restore thee unto thy place, and thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand, after the foremanner when thou wast his butler. But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. All right, so Joseph is locked up by the accusations of Pharaoh's wife. While he locked up, the butler and the baker, they get locked up. Now keep in mind, Joseph already got the favor of the prison wardens, or the prison guards, whoever you want to call them. But Joseph got the favor of the CO. And so when the butler and the baker come in, Joseph is put over them. Like he over them. Like we had them, they they somewhat still in effect. They like trustee, but they not really over us per se. Like they serve you food and they, you know what I'm saying, little trustee. I think back in the Gap though, they used to have them for real. They used to call them turnkeys back in the Gap. But anyway, so it sounds like Joseph is a turnkey. Excuse me. But anyway, so the butler and the baker, they had a dream, and Joseph come in the next day and he see him, they in there looking sad. He like, what's wrong with y'all? And they like, we had these dreams and we ain't got nobody that's gonna interpret these dreams for us. And so the butler tell Joseph his dream. And Joseph say, you know what? This means in 3 days, you're going to be right back in the position that you was in. You're going to be right back up there. You're going to be chief butler. You're going to be serving the Pharaoh. I don't know why that's a prominent position, but you're going to be right up there with him. You're going to be back serving him this little cup. But remember this, fam. When you go up there and you get out, just remember me. That what he had. Told him, remember me. 15. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets. Excuse me. I'm going to read that one over. 16. When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head, and in the uppermost basket there was all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. And Joseph answered and said, this is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree, and the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee. And it came to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and he gave the cup into the Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker as Joseph had interpreted to them. Now, you got to think about this, though. If you sitting in here and, like, obviously they got some type of, Joseph has some type of authority, obviously, and they kind of look up to Joseph, and Joseph is saying, like, hey, yeah, I can interpret this dream for you. Tell me what it is. And so you both y'all had a dream, and so he tell the first dude, he like, oh yeah, that means in 3 days you're gonna be right back where you was at. You're gonna be still, back in your same position. You're gonna be straight. And so you sitting over here, you like, oh yeah. And then you be like, well, hey, check this out. I had a dream too. And so this how my dream was. And then he tell you, well, in 3 days you're gonna get hanged. You gotta think about the emotions, the emotions in this room, right? Because the dude is gonna go back to his position. He happy. Like, oh, y'all finna get up out of here. I'm finna go to my position. Bro done told me, oh, yeah, I believe in Joseph. I believe in Joseph. Everything Joseph did been great. But then you got the baker, and the baker over here like, what? 3 days he gonna hang? Bro don't know what he talking about. Bro do not know what he talking about. But listen, that right there is like, just because a person is in the same situation that you in, it appears so. Or just because you and this person has the same status, or it appears so, does not mean that y'all gonna have the same outcome, right? That means instead of worrying about another person, worry about yourself. See, the baker, he wasn't even gonna say nothing. But when he heard the good news, the word say when he heard the good news that the butler got, he was like, oh yeah, let me go on and tell you about mine, right? Because he felt like he was finna get The blessing the butler got. But if the butler would have never said nothing, the baker would have never said nothing. Beware of them people around you. That they don't want to say nothing till you say something. Right? Here you getting good news and want to pop up. Linger around like a bad fart. I heard you got him. I heard you getting a promotion. Yeah. How long you been? Yeah. All that, how long you, that's hate. How long you been here? Excuse me. How long you been doing this? How you get a promotion? How you get this? Right? How you will beat me? We in the same position. Matter of fact, I've been working this job longer than you. How you gonna feel like you gonna get above me? We both been working here. I've been here longer than you. I got seniority, but you above me? Just because you are in the same situation with a person don't mean y'all gonna have the same outcome. And just like Joseph said, in 3 days' time, the butler was back up there by the Pharaoh, giving him his cup of wine, and the baker was out there hanging on a tree. 23. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him. Now, they say you're supposed to do everything out of love, right? And so you do. Can you imagine you being locked down with a person right next to the man that can get you out? And that person is going through something. They have a situation, they can't figure it out. They can't get through it. They don't know what's going to happen. Having this dream about a cup in a hand, three wine branches. He didn't know what was going on. Joseph came in there and put that man's mind at rest. Joseph said, in 3 days, you're going to be back doing what you were doing. But just when you leave here and you back in your position, just don't forget about me. Tell the Pharaoh, hey, you know Joseph's still down there. But what they do? Once you help them through that situation, the butler just showed you. In 23, he said, yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forget him. So while the chief butler, his last 3 days, he in there, he chilling. And let me tell you about when them last couple of days coming down, you know you finna go? Oh, man. You all, I'm talking about geeked up ain't the word for it. Turned ain't the word for it. That man in peace. Ain't got to worry about, is he going to go out here, and is he going to be released and got to go out here to the streets like a peasant? Nah, I know I'm finna get right back out and I'm finna go get right back in my position. And when you got that mind frame and you knowing that, and it's taking from somebody that know, I knew that. I knew when I was coming home, I ain't worried about it. I know I'm finna go home tomorrow and I know I got this job waiting on me. I'm finna go into position. I'm not finna go out here to the street looking. I'm finna go into position. And when you know that, oh, them days right there ain't nothing, baby. That's cupcake. That's sweet. That's sweet, though. So the butler, he was straight and then got right back in position. And forgot about the person. Forgot about old Joseph. And knowing Joseph the truth, right? This is how you know Joseph the truth, because Joseph told him you're going to be in position and he's going to be hanging. The butler watching the baker hang and still didn't even remember, dang, Joseph said that I was going to be right here and Lil Fam was going to be right there. Didn't even think about Joseph because he had got what he wanted. You do something for a person, they say, what I owe you. You say, you don't owe me nothing. You can give me whatever you think is worth. You know what I'm saying? I ain't charging you, but you can throw me something if you want to. And you've been over here with this person 3.5 hours and they throw you $10, $15. Now, I know the first thing a person can say, well, you can't complain about that. You got to put your price. Right? You can't complain about that. It ain't even about why should I have to set a price on your gratitude? Why should I have to tell you, hey, well, you should be $50 thankful. You should be $125 thankful because without me, you would not have completed this. Why should I have to put a number on your gratitude? And then why is your gratitude so low when your need for help was so high? Yeah. Tell me about something you should have told them from the beginning, I'm going to charge this. Or you said you wasn't tripping about the money. And then here go, this one thing you got to realize. In most cases, when you do something for a person and you be like, what I owe you? And they like, well, you don't owe me nothing. You can throw me something if you want to. Even if you try to throw them something like some real bread, they going to turn that down because, hey, I ain't even do that for that, fam. I ain't even do that for that. The problem I see is, money is the motivator. And once a person has got what they want out of you, has used you for what they want, then you are a forethought. You are afterthought. I mean, they ain't thinking about you no more. You are buried in the deepest recesses of their mind. And 40:23 proved it. Say, yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him. Didn't say, and it had to say he forgot Joseph. They could have just said he ain't remember to say Joseph's name, but they say he didn't remember and he forgot him. It's cold. Do you know how much anxiety just sitting not knowing? If you've never said not knew, you don't know. But just sitting and not knowing it's crazy. It's stressful. So for somebody to come in, hey man, tell me something. Ask any person that's facing time. They ever faced time, ever did time. You sitting in that county jail, you like, look, y'all gonna send me that way. Why are we still sitting here? Go on and send me that way. I don't want to be here. Because it's, and I'm talking about today. I don't even know back in them times. But today just sitting there. You not gonna sit there, y'all gonna charge me. Come on, go on, charge me, y'all gonna ship me, go on to ship me. When is the van coming? So for somebody to give you that peace, and you just forget about them because you got what you want. Now, somebody that went out their way for you, somebody that did something they did not have to do for you, didn't charge you nothing, didn't ask you for nothing. I'm talking about whether it was stopping, gave you a jump, helped you change a tire, ran you down the store for gas. Somebody then did something for you. You didn't pick your phone up and call somebody and ask them, can you do this for me? And they didn't did it for you. Call that person back. And even if you said thank you then, let them know you ain't forgot about them today. But I know a lot of people ain't gonna make that call because, like, why would I call somebody that did something for me 3 years ago and then, like, last week we were just into it? That's a pride thing. Because you can either, like, be a doer of the word, or we can just sit here and read through it like kids in school. But if you ain't trying to do none of the stuff that we reading, then what is the purpose? to obtain the knowledge and what, just store it? Oh, I know it. I know it. I done heard it before. I done heard it broke down to the lowest common denominator. But I'm going to still do this. And I'm going to still act like this. What type of sense do that make? Anyway, I ain't going to hold you no longer. That was Genesis chapter 40. Joseph then brought peace to the butler and the baker. Well, he brought peace to the butler. He didn't stretch the baker all the way out. And the butler forgot about him. Keep doing good. And if ain't nobody did nothing for you just because, tomorrow, do something for somebody just because. You got to be the change that you want to see in the world if you really want to see a change. But anyway, I'm G, the seeker of truth, this spiritual state. And until next time, y'all stay elevated.